And with that, I am back. I do apologize. I literally had sudo reboot apparently in my history, and I didn't even look. I just up arrow and enter and whoopsie doopsie. I hope stream is okay. As I say, I do apologize, but mistakes happen. Mistakes were made. What's I have issues. I have many issues. No, why is you saying offline? My Twitch stream says it's offline. Oh, that's better.
Right there.
Yeah, I know, but mine wasn't refreshed there. But it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You know, this is what happens when you don't look at what you're typing and executing. It's fine. Um, let's run that again. Oh, actually, I broke that for both. In both cases, that part is broken. Okay, okay, okay. I almost feel like what I want to be asking if what's the right answer here? Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is where we write the actual text. What we need to ask. I think if we ask h plus 1. No, that's even worse. That's broke it even worse. So we're asking the wrong question here. Or is it me calculating the centerline wrong? No, centerline should just be height divided by 2. And at this point, we've already calculated the height to be our height plus whatever padding times 2. And trying to think why -1 would solve it if it does. Like, you figure out the logic here. But I'm basically just miscounting by 1. I know that much. Okay, let's maybe try and fix it on the other guy first. Like this draw text box here is the same question essentially that we're asking. If h, I feel like the answer should be +1 because what we're already we've already increased those indices by 1 by starting there instead of 0. And that breaks it again. Okay, that breaks it entirely. So I'm asking the wrong question. If height is equal to the centerline, if we are basically where the centerline should be in our this is literally just a very simple logic mistake in my brain where I'm not counting the indices right. If h is centerline, then do that. But apparently when you divide, you end up with... Actually, do me a favor and somehow print out just this center line. Yeah, let's do it right here. Oh, just right here, maybe. Before we do anything with text boxes, bless you, I'm just gonna do a console dot print, no, right line, well, just right even, no, right line is fine. I have caps lock on, and then center line. Let's do string interpolation, and I can just do this and say center line. Okay, okay, so that didn't do the trick. 7.0 kernel might do it then for you, but it's a bit weird. It's a bit weird, I'll be honest. Why are you... Hmm. Could actually be, I'm just realizing, it could actually be also that the... God, what's it called? The actual runtime you get the CPU runtime you get in like CUDA runtime, like in my case, it could be that you don't get the right runtime yet. Why don't we actually? I can ask the question. We can have a quick look here. Okay, that's definitely not good. But like if I look at mine, here runtime, I have all the Llama CPPs available. But funny enough, let me have a look here. Llama, not compatible only. Show me all. Dude, they don't have Intel acceleration. The only way you're gonna get LM Studio to run is essentially maybe this. No, then the Vulkan Llama would require that Vulkan recognizes the card properly. Yeah, but there's no actual Intel specific support that I'm seeing here. So this is going to be a problem. Yeah. Oh, Debian, oh God. Um, but that's the thing though. Debian uses older software in general, like version wise. So, yeah. Hmm? Oh, I have a wrong window open. That's why I can't see it. Yes. Hey, Silly River. Let me. Excuse me, mouse. I have. There we go. I was going to say I've lost the mouse, but no. But yeah, I don't really know how to suggest any help then, because obviously, if there's no proper Intel support, or if Vulkan just doesn't recognize the card, you're going to have problems, obviously. Interesting. But yes, anyways, we are trying to fix... Ah, of course, of course. Right, when you run games, do me a favor, or do yourself a favor, and run them through Manga HUD. right? Just use that wrapper because it'll tell you exactly what driver is being used to run the game. Because I imagine that in a lot of cases, what you're actually seeing is that you're seeing a DXVK driver sort of does a translation from the Windows layer to the Vulkan layer. Again, use the Mango HUD, or you can even go a bit harder than that. I'll show you. If you give me a second, I'll go and fire up my Steam. We're doing tech support now. Fuck it. We're doing tech support, a bit of programming. We're doing everything here. Just wait for Steam to fire up.
Oh, we started.
No, I'm not hitting sudo reboot again. Right, I'm just basically going to paste a command line in so you can see how I launch all my games essentially. So give me a second here. Yeah, I basically hit sudo reboot. And I didn't even look at the command line. I literally just hit the up arrow and enter, and it was. No, just sudo reboot does it. You don't need to do any time with that. But yeah, if you give me a second, I shall put something. What's my mouse? God, what's going on with my mouse right now? Thank you. Yeah, fair enough. But this is essentially how I launch all my Steam games. Give me a second of something missing. I think I have that in here. Yes, and if I go over here now, that's the entire command line that I use in Steam, provided you have Game Scope and Game Performance installed. But literally just copy and paste that, and that is your launch options in Steam. And it gives you, as I say, the Mango HUD in the top left corner tells you what driver is being used, what frame time you're obviously looking at. It's more of an FPS thing, but it tells you the driver. I'll show you right there. You literally just open the properties of any game. Okay, let's make this even more obvious. Right, here's my Steam, and I'm going to say here, for example, Factorial properties, and then just paste that entire line fully in. That is all there is to it. I say that as easily as that, but this is how you do it basically. And to sort of explain right at the beginning, and you have a few more options in the line that I pasted in there. They are Windows specific, so for Wine specific things you would want all the other ones as well. But these are variables, or environment variables, just being said, right? Then after that, we basically use a wrapper called game performance, and all it does is tell the CPU to run in performance mode rather than balance mode. Then I use game scope with --mango app to get Mango HUD, but I also define my width and height and full screen mode because game scope itself is it's a compositor specifically for Linux to basically isolate your monitors into one single instance, and it's a bit faster. And then you need to make sure you do these two dashes, space, and then in %signs command, because that is the actual launch command that Steam would use to start the game, and you're just adding a whole bunch of stuff to the front of it. But yeah, that's that part. Okay. Let me. Can we make you big, please? Thank you. If you just go cache OS hello, okay, I'll show you. Right, and you go apps and tweaks, just install gaming packages. It'll grab all of that for you. plus some extra things that make just life a bit easier. But that's how you get all the prerequisites. Oh, already installed. Pac-Man SS
Restart?
GameStop. So that's literally just in Pac-Man. You can just install GameScope itself. And oh, whoa, 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 whoa! Those two at the front and the end, ignore them. I just use them to wrap the command in, but the command is actually without the two tilde, without the two things in the front and end. Let me actually go and paste it again in the correct way. Makes it easier for you to just grab as the whole thing. And that is essentially it. But you can basically test, like, type into console game per and hit tab and see if it's completing, and the same with game scope. Those should be just executable commands on your terminal. If it finds those, they are installed. If obviously they're not, then they're not. Or what I like to do is, in this case, game performance. I think I've spelled that right. I did not. Some nice errors. Okay. We'll fix it maybe. Ooh, not good. Although maybe in your case, a reinstall might actually give you that clean slate that you need. Did you at least separate out your home directory and root? Yeah, it's testing is always difficult on Linux because sometimes you end up in a situation where you made changes that you're not quite aware of what the package manager did, and then undoing those is quite. Yeah, I know what you meant. Is quite challenging, I want to say. And I think I'm just being an idiot here. Yeah, I think I'm being an idiot here. We'll literally just make it +1 here. Yes, do this. Yeah. Okay, so that's fixed it for that one, except for now we need to fix the other box drawer, which again here we just say our center height is actually +1, and that's it. Yeah, that's definitely driver support missing. Like somehow the Vulkan driver doesn't even see the Intel card. Again, I would probably try the 7.0 kernel if I'm being honest. And yes, we now have these random boxes drawn here and here. The line is centered as expected, and we're using the characters correctly. Yes, okay, cool. Let me go and remove this. God, what was it? This console right line thing. I don't want it. It's just for debugging purposes. We had that there, but that's it. Yeah, gonna have to probably. Um, okay. But yes, I probably haven't asked, but how is everyone doing today? Uh, I got a mail from the kitchen. That's something. um, okay, so that's sort of the initial thing that I wanted to do. Basically, have a box drawer for text. What else do I want? Because maybe we could look at making like an input box. Right. So, and I could probably use like draw text box as one function or as one part of it to just draw the box itself and then expand that out. You didn't miss much. I'm basically just I basically just confirmed that my code works as it's supposed to, and now I'm thinking about the next step. And I'm thinking here to do something with maybe user input because sometimes in a console application you want the user to give you some information, and maybe I want to have something that makes this easier for me. So we can draw boxes, but we can't do anything much with that yet. I'm almost tempted to get this a little bit, what do you call it, factored out. Because I feel like this is a lot of code in one piece that maybe we can make a bit neater. So I'm almost thinking here, let's try. First, let's make a folder here and we'll put all that in here because this library will probably get more functions in the future as I expand it out with things I want and need. So core dot box drawer, because that's where that lives. Okay. And then I would probably have a new file in here for simplebox.cs. Oh, that was wrong, not cx, cs. And then we'll make one for text box. Right. Draw simple box. Control X that because I would want those in here. Yeah, that's fine. Namespace is novice toolbox core dot box drawer. Class, it's a public class actually. Oh. Class simple box. All right. Yeah, I've sort of moved away from the entire Debian system because I just felt how do I say this I just felt like they were losing too many maintainers to really important pieces of software not being updated and that. And I've been on Debian for decades. I've been every single one of my servers has been running on Debian. I very rarely even touched Ubuntu. It was always just bare Debian. I did like the LMDE, so Linux Mint desktop, not the Debian edition. That's what it's called. So it's not based on Ubuntu. It's actually based on Debian. And for a desktop, I really liked it. But it's just as I say, I see this bleed of maintainers in their infrastructure, and it's a problem because if important pieces of software don't get updated, then things will break. Public class simple box, and you would probably need to using these structs, right? So you know how to make a box in the first place. I feel like this inherits from box drawer. Okay. I want this instantiation basically as well. Let's make the next thing happen right now. Novice toolbox core dot box drawer. It's a public class text box, we're going to call it. And that is where all of this will disappear into. Like this, I believe. Okay, then again, you obviously don't know exactly what a box is, so
No patch.
that was right now. That's not going to work. Maybe we'll just call it a simple text box then instead. And then that way we don't have that type issue, and I can actually say, hey, yes, we're using those structs. And I feel still I want to be inheriting from box draw here. And does this make sense so far? I'm trying to think my way through here. Simple box. Oh, there's a new simple box. Simple draw. We'll do another one for the text one. Simple text box is a new simple text box. And since this is a simple drawer, this is a text box drawer. And I think this should work. Let me go through this. Like I'm just trying to understand in my head if this is how I would expect this to work. So if a simple text box gets made, it should do this parent thing. Well, does it? Should it? No, it shouldn't. Not necessarily. We would need to actually call that. I think that's exactly what I need to do. I need to make a constructor, right? It doesn't take in any parameters at the moment anyways, and then we'll just parent. Oh god. It's not parent, because I forget things easily. I know we did things like this in mono game. I think that there's things that we did here like that. Base, that's what's called. It's base, not parent. Oh god, you can't. Can you not call the constructor like that? Hmm. Let's have a look. C sharp. And I want to call parent constructor. This is the thing. We add it at the end. As we are. Let me look at that again. I don't understand what. So we make this. We make a constructor, right? We need to make our own constructor here. That's fair. But all we need to do with that is say, hey, base, like so. Oh, it's simple text draw box, right? Calling it into base constructor. I think that's all it needs to do. So we'll make another constructor here. Base. And then I guess right, the box draw has that instantiation here going on. Yeah, I feel like this could work. Maybe not should, but it could work. And then let's clean build and run it and see what happens. No, something terrible happened. We actually called our own exception. There's already an instance of box draw created. Yeah, because you can only have one of those. That's what a singleton really is and means. And it just occurs to me, I don't need this to be a singleton. We want multiple instances of draws, quite possibly, quite conceivably. So really that just means that we're just not doing this thing. We're just not doing any of this instantiation. It's almost useless. Yeah, I think that there's literally no point in us dropping this in this manner. Okay, we'll actually just get rid of that. I need to rename that into simple text box so I'm not getting confused all the time. And yeah, there's none of this needs to happen. Yeah, you don't need to inherit from anything. That's literally all you need to do. All right. This should be now functionally the same as what we had before. And yes, it is. It works. It works. It works.
Yeah.
Right. Cool, cool, cool. And I figure, I mean, like, to make this easier readable, we'll just do this. That's fine. Now, if I want to do something like an input box, I would probably want to draw a text box and expand out to the bottom. Right, and what I'm probably meaning with that, let's go away from the silliness with all these different characters. Why not? Because you can't define, you can't really differentiate between those two. That fine, 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 fine. I'll just give you the standard character then. I need to fix those function declarations then because this should not be a thing. But if we were to quickly just run this again, and then I'm going to copy one of those boxes, we're going to fire up an Emacs quickly here. And see, we have this here box, okay? Then I would probably go and say our user input is going to be something like this. Right, this is our like input window where we're just, I don't know, here waiting for the actual answer of the user. Like, I think this is sort of what I would want to create. All right, so that basically by the end of the draw call, the cursor should end up exactly where it is now and wait for the user's input. There's the problem though, because what happens if the input is longer than the box? It's just going to overwrite that box. So maybe we will handle it slightly differently and say, hey, we'll leave that line empty maybe and have our input there. Well, actually, wait a minute. What kind of inputs are we wanting? Maybe I'm wanting actually just to make this as a menu where we have single character inputs. Because then we can absolutely do this sort of thing and just draw the box, whatever, like this, wait for input there. The minute the character is pressed, we react to that. Okay, so like a menu draw, we want to maybe call it, right? Box draw, I'll make this a menu draw .cs, and we'll actually, I can copy most of this, and we'll just need to adapt it to our needs. It's not a text box, thank you. It's a simple menu box, we'll call this, and we'll call it draw menu box, right? Okay. And then I suppose we would need to figure out how we would define menus. Yeah. Not sure at the moment, like my brain's starting to conk out. Um, because it's not just a single string of text that's going in there anymore. We would need to pass in like a menu structure, like a struct of probably the shortcut and the long name. And possibly
No, everything business.
function, like a method declaration. Hmm. Definitely feels like we would need like a new structure of some sort. Let's have a look here. Uh, it wants to probably also have origins. Do we need a width? Maybe. Maybe. Box character, width, height, that. No, wait. I'm looking at this wrong way. This is a completely different. First thing we would need a character, right? Of shortcut, we'll call it. Then we want probably just a string of long name. And can I try to think here which way I want to do the attaching of a menu item to an action. And I suppose it really comes down that when we get the input, so when we get the character, yeah, it feels like I want, even if I express it as a string and somehow reflect on existing functions and call them, or me, is this a thing? Can I actually just say I want a method? No. So we could make it just an object, but meaning it can be anything. Uh, just for now, function call. This is basically how a menu would be created. We would then obviously need to make sure as we short yeah, then we need a string L name. Excuse me, thank you. And an object called the func call. And basically meaning also realizing naming it wrong. Need camel case, and we need these to be public as a matter of fact. And then I can say here, short part is coming in from our parameter. Nope. Like so. Long name equals lname. And function call equals fun call. Something like that. I'm sure I can't just do what I'm trying to do here, but we're working our way towards this as a problem, right? So in the menu drawer, we basically need to say, hey, we want to make him. No, that needs to happen actually down here. We need to make the menu here and then pass it into the drawer, right? Menu equals, all of main menu is a new menu. So we'll give it a character, which let's say R for reload. No, it's a string. All right. And then what I'm going to do here, just very simply, I'll make a quick function here. Public void reload menu. It doesn't really need to do anything right now. It's not really the important part. The important part for me was to do this. No. Can't do that. Oh, wait, a public static void. Cannot convert from void to object. So you need actually an object return. We can maybe even do that. No. Because this is essentially saying that whatever we do in reload menu makes an object of a kind, and that's what we're returning. That's not what I'm needing. What is it I'm needing? I'm needing a function reference. Is that something you call that? Let's go and ask questions. Bless you.
Thank you.
Um, function reference. This, I have a function. I wish to add a reference to this function in a variable, so I could call the function from a variable as if it was a function. How? You want to save a func to a variable for later use. Take a look at the example here. So this is our actual function that we want to call, right? Uppercase string. This here, this is our line. We make a func of string. Basically meaning your input and output are both strings. Right, that's how I'm reading this. Like the first type is the input, the second type is the output. Yeah. This seems to make sense somewhere deep down. reload menu, and then instead of that, we're actually just passing in convert method. Void void. I'm sure that's how that would work, because it doesn't. No overload for reload menu, matches delegate func void void. Cannot use that. Excuse me, this is different. An action of some type called bar, and foo is the function being called here. Yeah, the delegate might actually be then the right thing to do here, from what I'm reading. So instead of being a func, it's a public. I can't remember things for shit. Public action. Why not? I mean, this I get because I obviously used the wrong casing there, but you're not happy with action. That's the name of it. So we'll actually do this. No, you can't do that. I mean, well, just for shits and giggles, do this with a bool. Maybe we just can't do it with empty definitions, with empty functions. And then we'll say convert method. It's not convert method, really. We should name this something and something else. It's reload method, really. Right. And reload method is equal to reload menu. Okay. No, not like this. I think we just pass it in. Hmm. This is in the wrong place. Yeah, because we're in a static, that makes sense. And then reload menu. Okay, I think we're getting somewhere where I can make this a thing. So reload method that we're wanting in here. reload. Let's just call this reload menu, like something like that. And then essentially, if I understand this right, menu dot function call. True. No, not quite. Oh, wait, yeah. The other problem is it's not an object, it's an action. Right. And I think the more I'm looking at this, the more I understand slowly but surely the individual pieces. Because we don't need this. Go and clean up that part. And we'll actually do a console dot write line or something, doesn't matter. Reload called. Basically just making sure we can confirm that this call actually went through. Well, this whole nullable is actually starting to annoy me, but it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. I think for now I just want to test if we can make this menu thing, struct, whatever, object, and if this call then actually goes through, right? So what? We'll clean, build, and run it and see what happens. Oh my goodness, I'm actually due a break.
Yes, you are.
Oh. We have one warning, but yes.
Jill, you just scared the dog.
Oh, sorry, boy. I'm fine. I'm fine. Sorry, boy. I was just very excited there. I seen something working that I didn't expect to work. You're a good boy. Anyways, guys, if you like this sort of content and you know the discovery of things from myself, give me a like, a follow, a subscribe. It's always well appreciated. And I will be back in 3 to 5. See you all soon. And with that, I am back. But yeah, this made me very excited that we can sort of like take a function and just attach it sort of, as a variable type to this struct. But what I'm just realizing is this isn't exactly a menu. This is a menu item that I'm making there. So it's a simple rename in this case, because then a menu is going to be a collection, maybe a list even, of menu items, right? So we'll need to obviously need to refactor this. This should also have taken care of program CS. Yes, it's a menu item that we're making there. Okay, good, good, good. And
Uh-huh.
you found it. Um, just make a list of it. I don't. Just never mind. Okay, it might be empty, but I will make sure it's not. Um, list of menu item. Nope. That's the actual menu. Patch, enough. No, come here, lie down. Stay. Um, we'll need to name this reload item menu item maybe. And when I then go and construct the whole thing, I would probably just say, hey, menu add, no? Yes, add essentially the reload menu item. Right, okay, yeah, no, this is fine because we haven't actually properly instantiated it. It's a just new list. It's a new empty list. That's all it needs to be. And what's your problem here? All right, okay. Now it just makes it look like this. And what's your problem? I don't think this needs to be read-only, or can be read-only, because I'm still writing to it. Like, we're adding items to it, right? No, apparently not. Because an object reference. Well, that ain't really a thing because we're not working in references in this case. We just make a static one. Let's make another one. Just call menu item. I don't know. So why not do a queue, quit menu, and then this is going to be a quit method, which we need to go and actually first define here. Quit method, and then why that needs to be public, I don't know. I don't think it needs to be, so we'll make all this actually internal or just private. Static void switch menu. And then for now, I'm quite happy to just say, hey, we called the thing, we're not actually doing much with it. Quit called. Right. Then we have those two. Ah, yes. Quit method is Quit menu. Yeah. Oh yeah. And then we'll just add to the menu the quit menu item. And now we need to figure out how to draw this, right? So doesn't seem all that complicated if I think about it, because we can count how many items we have,
No, no.
right? We can count how many items we have in our menu. We basically add a bit of padding to that. We can also go through each element and figure out which one of those has the longest text. That sets our width. So we've got a height and a width already sort of appearing here out of thin air, as it were, by just of virtue, but just the sheer virtue of providing these items through and through. Okay, let's menu draw. And I think we don't need multiples there of, actually yes we do, because we still have the one with origins different or just print where you want to be printed. Fine. I will still go and say, you know what, we'll get rid of this function for just now, right? Just make one with, we don't care about origin, and we can always then go and fix the one with the origins set somewhere to be, yeah, more usable. So first off, we definitely need some sort of input, right? This is going to be a list of menu items called menu, right? That's what we're passing in. I don't think we need any height. Like this is something that gets calculated as we pass in the menu. We need padding. We want to know, you know, how much do we want to pad in each direction. We could probably even do pad X and pad Y, but for now I'm just happy with one number for the padding, and we can, it's fine. And yes, the character. Good. Then we need to go and calculate a few things, and I guess if we want to have the width first, I can go say for each variable item in collection, for each menu item in menu, right? For each item, what we're going to do is we're going to make a little private int here. Oh, grief. Private. Oh no, it's already private if it's in this function. You can't exactly do that. Int max length. All right. And we'll need to actually initialize this value once, because we're going to start doing comparison here, right? And we're going to say for each menu item in menu, we're going to compare the item dot long name dot length, right? That's basically what we're measuring against. And what we're going to say is if this name length is greater than max length,
I don't know, so
I didn't see that.
it's not just coming.
All right. Hey, supreme determinant. Camera up at the bottom left corner. Sure. You mean on? That's the question now. You mean on the vertical view or on the horizontal view. But welcome in, by the way. Welcome in. But let me quickly go through here, and I need some studio mode for a second. Is it in here that we're doing this? Yes, yes. So bottom left, you says. Let me see here. I need a bigger OBS. I need you to grow. Grow for me. I need more space. Thank you. Bottom left. That seems to be really in the way of some things, but sure, we can do that. Something like that, maybe. Do not need this anymore. Thank you. Where's my vertical view? Let's go and move it there as well. Where's the vertical scenes? So I'm just trying to figure out how I did this in my vertical views. All right, okay, cool. If that works for you, then I can leave my vertical one alone. Sweet, 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 sweet. But absolutely, you know, if you're finding it hard to read something or so, then do hit me up and I can make ticks bigger, which I should have done. Relocate cameras and that, it's not a problem. So if it's greater than max length, then max length automatically becomes item.longname.length. Basically, we're trying to go through each menu item and see which text is the longest and make that our max length of text, and then we can derive our width from that. Right? So that's not text.length, it's literally going to be max length plus padding times 2 plus 2 for the actual borders. This is our actual width. Height is essentially don't like to do that. Let me go underneath width. So in height is essentially the number of items. Menu dot count. I remember things. Hurrah! Plus a bit more. So we have the amount of items plus padding times 2 plus 2, because we also need to account for the bottom and top row. Don't need to do that. There's our center line, which I don't think I need as a matter of fact, because we're going to start drawing literally right after the first bit of padding. But this needs to be now a menu box, which I haven't... No, actually, no, this is just a normal text box for now. But it's not... It's not a text box, it's a normal box. It's literally just a simple box that we're wanting here. And why are you not happy? What does not contain a constructor? It takes 5 arguments. There's not 5. Oh, is there? There's 5 arguments. What I've... Simple text box. Oh, here, simple box. Where's my... Yeah, box, yes. There's 5 parameters. I'm probably just being silly. Yeah, it's not. It's just a box that we're making here. Yep. Okay, that makes sense. And then we're saying go through the entire height of the thing. if we're on the first or last one, just write the box characters and go right line. And 2 seconds here. I'm trying to understand. Yeah. So we're not actually looking for the center line. We're just going to say if we are basically on line 3. Like, yeah, no, that's not taking into account the padding. So if H is padding +1. If we are at line padding +1, right, we there, wait a minute, I'm not actually dealing with the menu yet. Because actually here we need to go and loop through that menu. Yeah. Yeah, this is for empty lines, like literally padded lines. So yeah, if we are on there, I need you to probably, is this a for each again? Where we just go through the entire list. I mean, this first part actually doesn't change much. No, actually, stop, Sebastian. Think about it. We need to do this many times. Menu item in menu, right? For each of those elements, we need to do all of this. Just the text is going to change. Item.long name. That's what's gonna get written now. And at the moment, we actually, I'm just realizing we haven't actually got an indication of what letter is associated with that menu item. Right, we haven't accounted for it, we're not calculating for it, but we should be able. Yeah. Feel like this might work. So we have 2 menu items, we have the menu made, and what do I think about string builder and console write line one-time using? I'm not entirely sure I understand the question. I've never worked with string builders. Okay, I just construct my strings mostly with string interpolation. If I'm being honest, like this guy. Damn caps lock. So I don't know what the question really gets at. Oh wait! Stop! What you're getting at, if I'm understanding this right, use a string builder to build up the string I want to print out, and then just once call the console write line. We can make that maybe how do I call this? An exercise for the next stage. I think for now I just want to understand how to actually draw these sort of things. Keep in mind, I am absolutely a beginner in C Sharp or programming in general. I am a tech support guy. I've read many bits of code. I've read many logs, but I am by no means a programmer, a developer, or anything. Never made money with it, anything. So I have no clue what any of this half the time means. I'm literally learning without AI. This is sort of the important point for me. We're just literally looking at documentation. We're looking at Stack Overflow as much as some may not like it. But you know, the whole point for it was I don't want AI to just give me ready-made solutions I will never understand. I want it to be able to actually look at code and say, hey, I made this and I understand how it does what it does. No, I actually appreciate that. It's an interesting approach because I imagine that every single console write line call takes a lot longer if we're literally chaining them up like that instead of just making one string builder object, dump our entire string into that, properly format it, and then just say to console write line, go here, print the whole damn thing. I can see that being faster and maybe even easier to read. I don't know. Let me first off try. Can we now and like draw this menu? I haven't made a menu draw yet, which is up here. Static. Simple menu box. Menu draw. Because that's what it's drawing. It's a new simple menu box. Now, and then as we draw menu box, that's where we pass in the, yep, good. Making sure I understand what I'm doing here. And then basically just pass in, what else do I need? Oh, right, yeah, we can't just, menu draw menu box. That's what we're wanting to do, and we're passing in the menu. And the rest I can actually leave padding and box character. That I don't care about too much right now. Let's see what happens. Clean build run. Almost, but not quite. Right. First issue. I am starting too early in drawing the actual menu items, which is happening here. No, it's happening here. I'm sorry. It's padding +2 has got to be then. Yeah, that makes actually sense in my brain mathematically. Well, just thinking about it. Although it's probably going to turn out I did this wrong. No, that's exactly what it needs to be. Correct. Good. I don't like the quick menu thing, so we need to basically look at the difference between max length and hour length as we're going through. And then just add more padding at the end. So, this padding here. Uh, Right, we need an int here. We'll call it diff. And it consists of max length minus item long name dot length. Right, so we're taking from our max length away the length of our current name, but at the same time we need to also remove some of the padding. Oh, good, good, good. I'm glad. I'm glad you got that running. Max length minus the length of the text. Because max length, when we're calculating it here, we are adding. No, we're not. No, we're not. No, 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 no. Max length is literally just a string length, so we're literally just looking what's the longest string, what is our string length, and plus diff. Back in cache with Vulkan support, nice. I'm glad to hear it. KDE, yeah. As far as I know, Plasma really has good integration, specifically with the accelerations and that. I've seen something earlier on actually from Brody Robertson, where someone basically now made a bunch of kernel patches to get even more performance out of this stack, mainly to do with VRAM handling, because what's happening a lot of times on Linux is when VRAM runs full because all the apps are running in there and your game runs in runs in there, your game ends up being swapped out to normal RAM, which is where stutters are coming from. And I'm running Neri. Why do you think we have all this scrolling, tiling stuff going on? I was previously on Hyperland, but I was finding myself organizing my screen too many times, like Windows left, forth, right, back, with different rows. Yeah, that one. And I had a look at Neri on a VM, and I loved it. And that's what I'm now working on. I think this should actually fix that issue. I think. I may be wrong. Yes. We're just making one too many lines. Why? And more to the point, is it getting worse if we add more menu items? I think that's my main question right now. So let's make another menu item. I don't care really. Reload 2, we'll call it. Like right, just literally add another one of those here, and then menu add the reload 2 menu item. That is the wrong character there. Thank you. I had a feeling it was going to do that. It's adding more padding at the bottom than it needs to because of. Oh wait, this is. I think this is me being a stupid idiot. If I go and look into the menu drawer, I think this console right line is fucking us up. Wait, now, how do I define the height? Height is menu count plus. Uh, this should return 3 plus 2 plus 2, so plus 4 should be a height of 7. Yeah, yeah. That's the usual. I was the same when I was trying to install Flatpak. It wasn't just working straight out the box. I needed. No, it wasn't. It wasn't Flatpak. It was Snap packages. I think I got rid of that again, but um, I'm counting wrong here. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for dropping in, Supreme Determinant. And yes, I am very much new, so you'll see me struggling and just humming and hawing and staring at the screen. So it's not always interesting, I want to say, but I enjoy the journey. And I'm making, I want to call it my little CLI toolbox. So CLI is command line interface, and I'm when I make like programs for the command line, I find myself redrawing a lot of stuff in just like in this fashion, but I'm literally sitting there copy pasting entire lengths of text, and I'm thinking to myself, we can make this programmatically work, right? So this is exactly what I've done here. I've made them some simple functions here to like draw simple boxes just with no content. Some draw some text boxes, which then calculate, okay, how high do I need to be, how wide do I need to be, and you can change the character that's being used for drawing those. And now I'm working on the sort of menu system. I want to take that a little step further, where we don't just have one word in a box, but we have an entire menu where you can possibly even select or somehow call these menu items. It's more really about learning the programming mindset, I think. Um, and so at the moment, I'm basically struggling, well, not struggling, but I've basically noticed the following. When I have 2 items, I have 1 line too many of padding. If I have 3 items, I now end up with 2 lines too many of padding. So this is where I'm now trying to go through and understand where I went wrong in the drawing. So you count the menu items, right? Yeah, gets the number of elements contained in the list, which should be a 3 in this case. Um, right, and then we have 1 line of padding that I want. We need that twice, so that's at the top and bottom. And then plus these 2, I think actually that is exactly the problem. And that's exactly what it was, right? If I now go through and remove that item again just to test this. So there was this one that we just made because why not? And go and run this again. Damn it. Damn it. I think then the really interesting question is what happens if there's only one menu item, huh? I mean, then you could just use a text box anyways, but that's not the point. The point is, where did my mathing go wrong? Fucking knew it. I fucking knew you were gonna do this. Somehow my height calculation is still wrong. And you know, we could do ourselves a little favor here, and I'm gonna set a breakpoint. We're gonna debug this in actual debug mode. Let me. Right there's our breakpoint. Go. C sharp, please. That. Right, let me go and look at the locals here as we step through this. So I can actually step over that. Well, that was the hope, but you're making me step through this. So padding is 1. There's 1 item in the list. Right? The width, we know that that works pretty much. Now, what should I end up with if I think about this before I look at the actual calculation that comes out? What should I expect to see? I would expect to see at least 3, 4, 5 lines. Because we have a padding of 1. We have our line itself, so that's already 3 lines. And then we have the bottom and top lines to actually draw. And I have a feeling that's already wrong. Yeah. Okay. So is it Alt F5, Shift F5 to break it off? We do need this +2 here because we need to account for the actual top and bottom line of the frame. Right? So order of operations is important here. I think it may well be. Right. Okay, let's step through it again. Go and show me the variables, please, and locals, thank you. And there's our 5, that is correct. Okay, keep going. Mm-hmm. That's perfect. That's exactly what I would have expected, right? And then for int h1. So basically going through the entire height. If we're at the top row or the bottom row. I guess we'll just keep going. Come on, where are we? Where's my output? Can I see? Is it on the terminal you're printing this? Excuse me. No. I'm confused. All right, no, I think this is where you did the printing, right? Maybe not. I don't know. Okay. Not happening. Not sure what's happening there. Let's just run it from here. Okay. So you've done that correctly, but the minute I add an item, right, we can test this. Right, now I'm calling it the same thing again. We end up with an extra line. We should get reload menu, quit menu, and then extra padding. Why? So let's go through the logic again here. We run through the entire height of our calculated box. We check if we're either on the last or first line and write just the border character. And then we just make an empty line. If our height is padding +2, you write the box character. Then you make some padding, write the long name, check how much difference there is between the longest word and your word, just add that to the padding to make more spaces at the end, right? And else where's this coming from? 2 seconds here. Let's look at this condition again. And else we must be on a line that is not having any specific content. This weirds me out a bit why that behaves like that. So where's the actual calculating again for the height? If we look at this again in this case, right, the height should count to 2 plus padding times 2, which is 1 times 2, which is 2. So 4 plus 2 is 6. So we should end up with 6 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No. So somewhere I'm miscounting. I'm sure of it. I'm miscounting by 1 again. And it only happens at the bottom end of the menu, which means it's not in the first part of the processing. I think I'm doing this in the wrong place. Damn it. Okay, that wasn't it. That still needs to live there. Weird. I don't. I don't understand quite why this height ends up being so weird. Oh. Is this to do? Yeah, this is zero indexing, but take the count -1. Huh. Like it's to do with 0 and 1 indexing. I know that for a fact. Okay, this looks promising. This looks promising. Now the question is what happens if we go back to like one menu item just for testing. Fuck. That wasn't it. That was not it. Mm, yeah, this makes no sense at the moment. Hmm. We should definitely start at H1, right? Should we though? Just trying to think my way through these loops here. And oh my goodness, I'm due another break again.
No.
Oh, my time is completely wrong then. Fail.
10 minutes.
Yeah. Mobius watch is being off. It's fine.
This is when you restarted.
Yep. Hmm. This is the start line. Yeah, that is fine. I think what I'm gonna actually do. Oh God, it's a tuple of int console get cursor position. Excuse you. Do we need to make a new declaration first? No. Wrong. Oh, we definitely need to initialize it first, apparently, somehow. And then we dump the context into it. Okay, fine. Origin is console get cursor position. Value. Oh, it's a value tuple. That's not just that's different than a tuple, apparently. Okay. Right. And if we just take this as origin and yeah, because then what I can do instead of console right line, will console dot set cursor position to be um origin dot item one das and yes origin item 2 plus h, you know, plus the offset where we're currently at. And every time I see a console right line, we'll go and replace it with that same block. Right, don't ever give me a new line unless I absolutely demand it. Well, I wouldn't even demand it, that's the whole point. We're literally setting our cursor position such that this should not be an issue anymore. Clean build run, do it. My menu didn't go drawn. Like, at all. Hmm. This should be fine. Because H should be getting increased every single time here. Hmm. Yeah, something's going terribly wrong here with the getting the correct positions. Right. Mm, yeah, that might actually be a thing where I need to. God. Yeah, when we make this box. I think we need to actually pass in the origin here. So origin dot item 1 and origin dot item 2. Right, basically base it off where we are and then put that into the return box, but that means we're actually doing this slightly different. This is return box dot origin x, comma return box dot origin y plus that h offset. Need to actually base it off the box that we're working with, I guess. Nope. Um, get the current cursor position, which let's actually before you do any menu things, what we'll do is we will make a single console.writeLine with no content. I just need an empty new line. I want it reset to like the beginning of X, I guess. And you're just not doing it, but we see the empty line appearing. That's at least something. I feel like this is actually somehow my fault. I mean, of course it is. I programmed the damn thing, right? um, realizing we actually have values here that I can just no, I'm on the wrong damn thing and almost broke it. Yep. Thank you. Menu drawer. Yeah, I don't think I'm getting much further here with this today, at least. Like my brain's a little bit frayed now. I think we're gonna call it good here. We've made progress. We have a thing that makes boxes on screen. And again, this was more of a sort of exercise in learning other things and understanding more things. So let me go and see if we can find a rate target. Patch, enough. Woohoo! Boxes on screens. Well, they're not nice boxes, but they are boxes nonetheless. My boxes. But yeah, let me go and pass you on to my ending screen. Patch, stop. And we will have a look. What do I look for? Who do we want to invade upon? And oh yeah, perfect. Perfect. Got love and share that love. What I missed there? Oh, Airbnb Bacon, thank you so much for the follow. Much appreciated. Honestly, I love that. Even though I'm doing really boring things, but you guys are still coming in here and watching me struggle. It's awesome, guys. I couldn't do this without you. It's as simple as that. Let me go and get a custom raid message prepared. Let's do like this and that. And I should think that. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Wow, wow, wow. That's a bit much text. So to Icarus we sail. Sure. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been absolutely amazing. I will be back tomorrow. We'll probably go back to this, or maybe we'll do a little bit of game programming. I haven't decided yet. It all depends on my mood and how my brain feels and all that. But anyways, guys, love yous all. Peace out and bye.